Hey guys, how you doing? Gavin Timms with REI Network. We're back with another episode. Before I introduce him, if you're watching or listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, just do me a favor. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Again, straight away if you can. There's going to be comments on there as well. If you want to interact with us, we're going to be kind of active on there, answering any questions that you have. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Right, I want to get started and introduce a good friend of mine. Rowe. Ron, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Gavin.
Appreciate you coming on, Ron. So I want to find out and kind of find out or tell the audience a little bit about you. I know we go back years. We've done several things, on a coaching level. You've been in kind of multiple things that, we've had going on. You're currently in our accountability group as well. And I really wanted to get you on, Ron, because obviously your experience, you've done deals for a long time. So we're going to find out kind of what you're doing, how it looks. But when we talked the other day, what really I was like, hey, let's get on a podcast and talk. You used the word exploding. Things are exploding, right? And I was like, that's awesome. That's powerful. And we need to get you on and kind of share that. So we're going to be talking about how things are exploding. We're going to talk about collaboration, partnerships, which is a completely down my alley, right? Anyone that watches me, I'm all about collaboration and partnerships. That's how I do all my deals. That's all I've ever done to get deals done. So I'm excited to find out what you're doing for you to share, and we're going to go from there. So Ron, tell us a little bit about you, how you got started, what you've been doing, and kind of the location that you're working right now.
Yeah, thanks, Gavin. So I've been wholesaling mostly since 2014. So that's quite a while, and I do it all part time. So I'm a former, or I'm still a licensed attorney, but when I started off, I was working for the state as an attorney, and then I switched for different family reasons to do some nonprofit work. That gave me a lot of flexibility to continue to do wholesaling. And I've working with Joe and you, Gavin, over the years, have gotten better or worse, sometimes just back and forth about keeping going with my marketing and follow up and stuff. And you and I have talked a lot about that over the years. But definitely doing deals every year, and just got different folks and different networks that help me do that. And so I'm in mid-Missouri, and like I say, doing mostly wholesaling. We do a lot of different kinds of marketing, and just see what comes in, and then process it and see what we can do with it.
Okay. So yeah, you've done deals then, for several years, obviously with an attorney background. I want to actually just touch on that real quick. I'm big when I work with anyone, I look at personalities, right? And this is something I'm going to be honest, I didn't really get from you. But normally what happens is that when I analyze people on a coaching level, I'm like, okay, I got an attorney. What's an attorney going to be more worried about? It's going to be paperwork. What's in the contracts, right? Are we going to be able to send out a contract without him like, well, this could be interpreted this way, or like a teacher, they want to be a full, plan of action, and they want to just plan everything and not actually do it. So we have all these different personalities. Was you as an attorney, did you have that? Was you worried when you got into wholesaling about, is this legal? What is the paperwork like? Did you have that feeling?
That's a great question. I'm kind of the opposite, and it's more my personality. And it's and as an attorney, I'm not the guy you hire for crossing your T's, dot your I's and stuff. And that's not the kind of work that I did. I'm not a details kind of guy, which you don't want an attorney that says that to you, by the way. So I'm a bigger picture guy. It really did help. And I've had several people talk to me about this. It did help me feel very comfortable with the docs that you have to use, and know, when I'm putting something out there, know how far I'm really extending myself with any one of the, the things that I'm committing to, with any paperwork that I'm putting out there. And also being able to read, a contract or whatever agreements, that you're looking at, and go, yeah, this is going to work. And just feeling comfortable knowing what you're getting into, I think, is more than anything with a legal background. So that's how I take it. And it's helped me in that respect for sure.
Yeah, so you actually took that as a positive thing, and spun it into using your knowledge, not to look at everything as a negative on there, but actually like, oh yeah, this the way that this reads, because I'm not an attorney, right? And we teach people all over the country, so we have to say, hey, go and get your contracts looked at. But when I look at the one-page agreement, I mean, we have 4 or 5 clauses in there that we need to have in there,
Right.
and at the end of the day, we have inspection periods. They have to give us access to the house to do inspections, get contractors, realtors, anyone that we need in there, and we can obviously renegotiate. We can get out the contract within the inspection period. We have certain get out clause. Now, obviously, I don't teach it to do that, to negotiate or to get out of contracts, but it's there to do if it's needed. So that's good to hear. That's good to hear, rather than no, you can't do this and you can't do that, and they pick it to part,
You
to
probably
pieces.
know this, but attorney gets paid by the hour typically, and if you give them a document, they're going to find something, 2 or 3 things they would change because that's their job. And you give 10 attorneys the same document, they're probably going to find 10 different things wrong with it or whatever. And that is what it is. They're paid to cover your CYA, and make sure that you're covered, given what you tell them your risk tolerance is and whatnot. And for me, I know my risk tolerance is I'm pretty okay. And then I just need those 3 or 4 clauses, like you mentioned, that I go, okay, I'm good on this. I'm going to operate in there, and we're pretty much going to get all these done. But if we needed an escape, then we can get out with that. So
Absolutely. No, that's great. I think that's going to be that right there for people, right? That when you give your contracts to attorneys, listen, again, their job is they get paid by the hour. So it's just like a new boss coming into a job, right? They have to make change, even though there's nothing needs changing. Everyone has to put their stamp on it to show, oh, I'm doing my job. And obviously, they're not going to go, oh yeah, it looks great, on your way, and they've just charged you for 5 minutes. They're going to go, oh no, we need to go back and forth 10 times so we all, I make some money. So no, that's great. So tell us then, from what you've been doing previous, to why you feel like this traction, you've been able to kind of, again, explode things, as kind of, started happening for you.
yeah, when I reached out to you the other day, and I do that occasionally with you, as you know, when things are going well, or I need a pick me up or whatever, I'll send you a box or something like that. And the other day, I just had something come in through my network where they basically said, "Hey, can you help my wholesaler in this area do this?" And it was in Columbia, it was in my area, and looked at it, and right away I said, "Heck yeah, this is. I mean, things are hot here. We're going to be able to do something with it." And at the as I was getting that message, I was working on the flip that I'm working on. That I never do flips, but it makes sense to do this flip. And I just got word, a couple hours before that, that another deal that's a virtual deal for me in a different market, pretty close to here, but working with another partner. He said, "Hey, we got the contract on that." And so it was just like all of that coming together literally within a few hours. I was like, and other things are brewing, and so I was like, I'm gonna box through Gavin and say, things are going. But really, the glue there is all of that. There's just tons of network partners that, I mean, that's happening. I'm doing the marketing side heavy, and most of the first contact, me or the VAs that I work with and have worked with off and on for a few years now. But we do the front side of it and get it going, and then do some follow up and stuff. But those network partners, whether it's in a remote location, or like kind of the main deal that I'm working on right now that I'm flipping here in my backyard, I'm not going to swing a hammer. I'm not doing any of the heavy lifting because I'm really a front side guy. But even here in my own backyard, I'm doing it kind of like you would do virtually with a partner. So it's partnerships is the big thing that I've developed over the past few years, that really is coming together all at once, makes this possible, so that I'm having quite a bit of success just right in the last few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. So networking, right? Huge. You got to be networking to build the relationships. And now you have obviously networking from new partners, but you've actually created kind of partners that you've had known for years and years, right? So I want to talk about the difference, in them. But what's cool is that multiple partners through networking, right? Again, I called my company REI Network because it's everything's about networking. Who from networking is going to create opportunities, open doors for you to do deals. So let's talk about this flip. Why did you take the flip on? What's going on? Who's involved in that?
Yeah, so this is a deal. Let me make sure I get it right. I think that this came in on my website. So I have a website. Don't go there. It's terrible. It's not terrible, but I just don't. I don't keep up with it.
Yep.
Another thing Gavin knows about me. I kind of put stuff out there. I'm not one to, make my website or everything look pretty and perfect or whatever. I just a receptacle that gets me some of the stuff that I need, and then I'll take it from there. I used to put my deals up on my website so buyers could see it, and I could have a VA do that, I think, but at the end of the day, I text and call my buyers when I get something and they know. So I just do, the simple things. But this one came in through the website. It's in my home market, my farm market that's really hot right now. There's just low inventory. Everybody wants a home, but nobody's really selling. And so looked at it, and I got to look at it because it's here with one of my best friends, who's a realtor here, and I've known him for years. And we go look at it. He goes, "Yeah, this is smoking. Let's figure out a way to do this." And he's such a kind soul. He's not trying to push in my deal ever, and it's one of the reasons why I want to work with him even more. But in talking with him, we figured out a good price point to get it. I was kind of surprised that the seller took it actually, but it made sense for him. Talk with him. He was ready to get a certain amount, and we could give him what he wanted, and he knew that there was still work to be done. And so we're gonna close that one here in a few days, actually, I think. But we've got the bids in for the stuff that we need to do, and we're managing that. And the other part that I didn't say about this, so I'm not putting my own money in this. I bring in private funds because I don't usually do this. I'll just wholesale these deals normally. And so I'm really partnering with two other people that are friends of mine. And so it's really fun to do it that way when you can do it. But there's private money out there. I mean, there's tons of money sitting on the sideline is my impression. And that's a whole different podcast probably, but this was one that I was going in it thinking I was going to wholesale. And when I talked to my realtor partner, he said, let's figure out a way to do this. And he could do it. And so we have set it up, and we're midstream in it. We've got some rehab we're going to have to do, but this is such a hot market. We're looking at the things that are coming on right now and feeling really good about where we're gonna list it. And it's exciting. I mean, I don't normally do these, so this is even more fun for me. And my wife doesn't do too much of stuff, but we're going to pick out kitchen cabinets and things like that. So I'm going to even bring her in. So everybody's getting involved.
Yeah, and that could spark something. I'm
Maybe,
warning
we'll
you.
see.
So it happened to me. So my wife loves it now. So she actually wants to start flipping in Savannah, because she loves it. So we're going to be looking at that. We have a couple of flips in Bama. Again, I like to wholesale everything as well. But you're exactly right. We looked at our numbers and just thought, what, if we start taking some of these down, for instance, this one that we're working right now. We could have wholesaled it for probably 15, and we're set after borrowing, paying the money people, after closing everything, we should make 60 on it. So you just can't turn it down, and it's probably going to sell within 3 days because they just are. If you're priced right, in good condition, I mean, as I think across the United States right now, because the interest rates are so low, these things are just going boom straight off because there's not enough out there, especially in great condition like new remodels and stuff, or they've been flipped, so they're in great condition, moving ready. Hits that market and it's kind of gone. So that's awesome. So you do that, but mainly you do wholesaling. You like to do that. So how have people been reaching out? Is this just through networking and then this other deal that you're going to be wholesaling? How's that looking?
So my main marketing channels over the past couple of years have been texting and cold calling, cold texting, cold calling. We've gotten pretty good at that. I use REI Simple, Freedom Soft, REI Simple is my platform for texting. It's worked really well. And we do, and then we use Mojo for calls, and I've got a little bit of a bird's nest situation with my day, keeping my CRMs connected, but my virtual assistants do a pretty good job of that, and having those talk to each other or keep up with it and let me know where the information is. But so that's how I get the deals. This one that I'm wholesaling with a network partner south of St. Louis, actually, is one, we probably cold texted last year and talked to him for months. And, we could tell right then, we weren't at his price point, but he just needed to cook a little bit, as Joe would say sometimes, I think. So I get a call from him saying, "Hey, we need some properties over in this town. I mean, it's just hot." And he was one of a couple people I called up and got back in touch, and he was ready to go. And so got that partner to go see it and get it locked up under contract. And that's where we're at. And we're gonna wholesale it or list it, or I'm not quite sure what we're doing. But again, that's the partner's taking care of that. I mean, I did my part of our work together to get him something he could get under contract that he knows that will sell in that market. And, that's my part of this. And
absolutely.
So he's doing disposition now.
Yeah, great. And that's the whole point of collaboration, right? Is that I see, I'll pick a husband and wife, for instance, right? Or a partnership that people work together. And the first thing is in a partnership is that you can't work on the same things, right? There's a certain amount of communication that needs to happen. Like if me and you were partnering, I have my select things that I'm doing, you have your select things that you're doing, and we'll communicate that that's happening, but we're not working on the same thing. What I see in partnerships is that, we're both going to do marketing. And it's like, why are you both doing marketing? Well, what should I do? Well, if one's marketing, one needs to be on the phone. Or if you're on the phone, get a VA to send out the office for you, right? You've got to look at making sure there's multiple things, multiple hats being worn in this business. And we need to make sure that you're spreading that workload out. And that's kind of what you're doing. And you're kind of filling both sides, aren't you? You're on a dispo side sometimes, you're on a marketing side sometimes, and you're fitting in the gaps where people need to get deals done.
Absolutely. And it really depends on the market. And I think I've mentioned to you over the years. So Columbia being what it is, Columbia is about 100,000 person town or so, not very big, but not too small. I get leads off in what I would call the boonies, just in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. And sometimes I have some buyers that can do stuff with them. But other than here in mid-Missouri, Columbia, and some in Jefferson City, I don't have buyers lists in some of the other places where I work, like at the Kansas City area. I worked in Springfield for a while with a couple of partners, and then all over St. Louis with different partners. And in Des Moines, I've worked in Des Moines, Iowa area, and a little bit in Cedar Rapids over the past couple of years. But in those other areas, I don't have the buyers. So they're doing all the, whatever partners I have, they're boots on the ground, and typically they're finding. Now I can, because I've done this for a while. And actually, I don't want to get off on a tangent, but I found my partner in Des Moines 2 years ago, texting. I found a deal. I knew it was a deal, even though I just started working there. And I was like, I'm going to get this thing under contract. What am I going to do? It's like, well, I'm not panicking. I'm just going to go find a partner to help me do it. And, I was looking for buyers, but I was also looking for wholesalers, like, lots of people teach. And Absolutely. Lo and behold, the second person I talked to, he's my partner to this day. And if anybody's working in Des Moines, I'd love to help you connect with this guy, because he is one of the best partners I've ever had doing this business. He's just so good, and he's so thorough, and he really treats me well, and has a lot of buyers, has a lot of connections, and we can, disposition is not a problem there once we get something. Yep. So
that's awesome. And again, it's my main model. That's why I love it, right? It does, you can do it anywhere. From the markets you're in, the markets I'm in, I have clients all over doing the same thing, because it obviously works, right? And if you understand that, I think a lot of people sometimes, like when they see a 10,000 or 20,000 or plus wholesale fee, they want it all. It'd be nice, right? It'd be nice just to say, I'm going to put 20,000 in my pocket, right? But what work have you got to go through to get that deal, where from day one, I can do 4 or 5, 6 of them with somebody else to my one. So overall, I've got half the effort level going in. We're doing more deals, so I'm making more money. We did a deal with a guy, a friend of mine in Phoenix. A client bought me the deal, and I said, I can move this deal for 10,000 over right now. I know he had it at 80,000. Okay. I can move it at 90,000, no problem. But let me see if I can do a connection here and see if we can get more money. So we were going to make 5 each, right? So I then spoke to a good friend of mine who's got about 16,000 people on his buyers list. They do all the VIP stuff. And I said, hey, I got a client bought this deal. Do you think you can move it? We can make 10 on it, but what do you think you can do? So he looked at it. He's like, yeah, I think I can get more. So he actually sold it for 103,000. So I did a connection, right? So my effort was got this person, got someone else involved. We all made literally about 7,500 each, I think, after it all said and done. So coaching client got an extra 2,500. I made my bit, he made his bit, and it was a win-win-win, right? And sometimes just through them connections, because he had better buyers, he had better relationships than me. And sometimes I don't stay in the middle. If a client brings me a deal, if I had you in Columbia, Missouri, and someone said, hey, I got a deal, I'm not going to spend my time to say, oh, I'm going to look for a buyer, I'll help you move it. I'm going to call you and say, hey, I got a client that's got a deal, will you look at it? And then I'll go, boom, I'll put you together and I'll stand out. If the deal's going to work with me or with, great, if it works with me, but I'll stand out to get it done, right? Because it all comes back round.
It all comes
right?
back. That's what I was going to say.
It all comes back around. I don't need a piece of the pie every time. It's always going to feed back in some way.
So, and Gavin, especially someone like myself, that stuff that I typically focus on, if I'm on the front end and I'm not doing a lot of boots on the ground, I'm certainly not swinging hammers and stuff like that, because I can't do that. I can do boots on the ground, some of it, because I do it here. But I've come to the position, regardless of the market I'm in, I kind of come into it as a, what do you want to get out of this? You being whoever I'm coming to as the network partner. And I, within reason, I just let them set the terms. What makes you feel good about this, as far as the spreads go and things like that. And I just find that if they feel good and they're doing the boots on the ground and the stuff, then overall, we're going to have a good relationship going forward and be able to do more deals. Now, if I try to nickel and dime you and get, like, I want this and I want that, it's like, well, maybe we're not working together for the next one. And
exactly,
it's not cultivating a relationship. I mean, and since I'm not doing the heavy lifting, I mean, yeah, I've got my marketing costs and I've got my overhead and stuff I've got to worry about in some sense. But if I want to do deals, then I want to find people that do good work. And you only do that by doing deals with them and see what they do. I mean, if they do you right, then just keep working with them.
Absolutely. No, this is awesome. Well, I'm glad to see, obviously, you doing well. I remember, again, when we do speak, you already said it's normally a pick me up or you're flying high, which is great, right? Sometimes that's what you need in terms of, again, networking. You need to, the pick me up, because the business is hard. I think one of the main things that we worked on years ago for you was stop doing it all. Get it outsourced, right? The marketing, because you used to be kind of the roller coaster investor when you were on, but when you're off, nothing was happening. And it's like, you got to outsource all of that. That needs to be running without you, whether you're in, working on your nonprofit, working a full-time job. The marketing's got to keep going. The train has to keep moving. And it's great to see, obviously, over the time that you're putting that into place. And obviously now, taking it to the next level. So fantastic. What would you say, Ron, if you were starting off, what would advice be for you? Like, after all the things that you've done, learned, what would you say to someone that was like trying to get in? Like, what would you say? I'm just curious.
I think one of the biggest struggles, and still for me, I mean, is consistency and finding. And so, finding what you can do consistently with whatever goals you have. And I mean, if you know that you've only got a couple hours a day to give to this business because you've got a full-time job, or if you're going all in and you're chucking the job and you're going, to this, what can you do consistently, and don't fret too much about what that is, but pick it and do it, and then keep up with that. And maybe that's talk to 2 sellers a day and try to make an offer or whatever, but do that every day. It's the consistency. It's the, compound effect. The slight edge is something that I don't live it. I do as I say, not as I do. I try my best, but these little things that you put together, and it's all little things, as in this business, doing them consistently over time. really, it's a tough part, but it gets it done. That's where it's at. And so continue to do those little things.
Yeah, I love
It
that.
really depends on what you're trying to do in the business, like what exact kind of advice I'd give to somebody, but that applies to everything. It's just whatever it is you're going to do is do at least something little every day and do it consistently.
So basically, what we're saying there is, um, play to your strengths, outsource your weaknesses, and be consistent every day. And whatever that consistency is, if it's 30 minutes a day, be consistent and do 30 minutes every day. If it's 2 hours a day, be consistent, do 2 hours, right? Don't be, I work all week, I'm just going to work Saturday morning only, right? Because again, the way marketing comes, whether you're doing cold calling, whether you're doing texting, direct mail, PPC, Facebook, it doesn't matter. Leads are coming in at all hours, all over the place, and sometimes it can't wait all week, right? And for people that are doing that, you might say, well, it's better than nothing. I agree, it is. But you need to start looking to say, how many deals have I lost because I got that lead on Monday and I called them on Saturday, right? How many deals do you lose by doing that, by not doing the follow-up? So that's really, really good advice. So Ron, I really, really appreciate obviously you coming on, sharing. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot from this. If people are in your market, so if they're in Columbia, Missouri, or the outskirts there, what's a good way if someone's got a deal, they want to partner with you, in your areas that you've talked about? Is there some way that they can reach out to you? What would be the best way to do that?
The best way is probably just to send me an email to my Gmail for this market, webuycomo@gmail, WEBUYCOMO@gmail. That comes in for these kind of deals. I do have a website, ibuyvidmohouses.com. That's a mouthful, but webuycomo@gmail is a good way to get in touch, and we can certainly. I'm happy to, as you know, like I'm an abundance guy. If I can help you, I will. If we can work together, great. If we can just, help you move deals, that's great for me.
Yeah. So guys watching this, and here's the thing, when we do something like this, I'd really encourage, okay, to go and if you're in these markets, is to try and get a deal, get a contract, right? And then get it over to someone like Ron and get it moved, okay, and make money. Try not to obviously just be hitting up questions. Just get on, start taking action, because people are going to take you more seriously, right? When you have something like that, just take the education, the courses, the videos you're watching on YouTube or podcasts, whatever you're doing, wherever you're at. If you're in them markets, get out there, take action, get making offers, lock up a deal, get it over, and get JV in to get it done. So awesome. Well, Ron, anything else before we get done?
No, I appreciate you having me on, Gavin. I have been wanting to do this for a while. I'm glad I had some deals to some explosions, so to speak, to be able to get on your radar and have something to talk about with you. So it's exciting. I appreciate the opportunity.
No, likewise. And I think just lastly as well, I want to just ask you just your opinion. I've not, I just want to just curious. We obviously just did the accountability group as well. I mean, did that kind of help, like kick things in to gear to?
I think the synergy of, again, taking action. I just had a renewed. I told my VAs, and you don't have to have VAs to do this stuff. I mean, as many of the people in the accountability group are just getting started. That's kind of what my comment of, hey, just talk to 2 people a day, whatever it is that you can do. I told them, I was like, hey, we're going to make 3 to 5 offers a day now, and as I told you on the Voxers, like I didn't quite make my offers, but part of it was because I'm personally with my time, processing these deals that we're actually getting going. So we kind of missed out on there, but the activity of doing the group, certainly for me has, it helped to get these things moving and some, again, whether it was follow up or new deals, most of these are follow up deals. So it's all a part of what we're doing in the accountability group. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the point of the group, right? Take massive action. It's not about coaching and courses and buying new things. It's just get on with it and do it. And you're right. Some people that are doing deals are not hitting the numbers. Who's complaining? I don't care. Oh yeah, you didn't hit your numbers, but you did 4 deals. Fantastic. Great. And that's the whole point of it, right? It's just taking that action, because when you take action, things happen magically. And it's a numbers game. And I wish, obviously, I never share people's scorecards, but it's the people that are doing deals are the ones that are making action. The ones that aren't doing are not getting any deals. Obviously, common sense, but it's just amazing when, oh, I'm scared of the phone. Well, once you keep doing it, it gets easier. Everything gets easier. Making offers, the marketing, just repetition of doing something is going to get better by taking action. So that's really good. Well, look, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy. Thank you for recording this. And yeah, remember, guys, Ron dropped his email. So if you're in his markets, hit him up. He'll be happy to JV get some deals done, and we'll go from there. All right, Ron, appreciate you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks, Gavin.
Thanks. Bye-bye.